So if you guys haven't seen lately, a whole bunch of trends have been coming out and everybody is obsessed with the like glittery eyeshadow toppery type of situation where you just throw a little bit of bronzer into the crease, put your eyeshadow topper on, and you go about your day. And I'm here today to give you some of my top recommendations for eyeshadows that fit the bill, that fit the description of these beautiful glittery eyeshadow toppers. I have about 5 different shades here. Some of them are mainstream, some of them are indie as well. And I am obsessed with all of these eyeshadow toppery type of shades. They give you like this like very glittery, scattered effect. Something that we saw a lot with the Patrick Ta duos that he released not too terribly long ago, but I'm telling you, you can find it in other shadows. Now let's start off with one that really reminds me of the Urban Decay Moondust shadow in the shade Space Cowboy. Space Cowboy is this like super glittery toppery shade, and it does have a little bit of a brown base to it. And I found that the shade Ritz from ColourPop's Super Shock Shadow Collection is like the go-to girl. This is such a beautiful formulation. It is a cream to powder formulation. It is the Super Shock Shadow formulation that we know and love, and it does create that glittery, toppery feel. Now, this specific shadow in the shade Ritz, it does have that like brownish undertone in it as well, and it is that champagne look, but look at the way that it just like sparkles on my hand. It is so beautiful. Like you can see the scattered effect also on my finger from the swatch, and it is just a beautiful, affordable shadow. If I remember correctly, the Super Shock shadows retail for like $8, and they are just so gorgeous. If you also like that like champagne base with like the glittery sparkly topper, there is the Finest Fleck eyeshadow in Champagne Showers. This one is not as like glittery toppery, but it does still provide some of that like finer, glitterier look. This is more of a dry formula, so you do actually have to layer this up quite a few times for it to really pack a punch. You see more of like a silver base to it as well, whereas you look at the top one, the Ritz shade, that one definitely looks a little bit more wet, whereas this one is a little bit more of a silver undertone, and then it does have like that brown base to the eyeshadow as well. I've heard that Finest Fleck shadow is supposed to be like a dupe for the Moondust Shadow Space Cowboy. And I have tried Space Cowboy before, and I do have some thoughts on that, which I'm going to feature in a dupes video. So make sure you are subscribed so that you can see that dupes video. Now, if you also like something that's very just scattery, kind of glittery, and it has a very translucent base, I couldn't recommend enough to you the Stila Heaven's Dew All Over Glimmer. And the shade that this is Silver Lake. I have a little bit of them on my eyes today, more on the upper portion. And I really like this because it does have a silver white base to it. It does not have any kind of brown undertone or anything like that. All it is this translucent base, and you can see here it's like a white silver reflect, but it is literally just so like, look how sparkly my finger is. It's just so sparkly, so pretty on the eye. So just throw a bronzer in the crease, throw this on top of it, and you are good to go. This is more of a higher end price point. It is from Stila, but honestly, like, you get 0.14 ounces of product in here. It does feel like a kind of wet formula, almost like a creamy wet formula, and then it does dry down to more of a powder finish. And this sparkle that it gives, just like that beautiful wet look to it, it's just so stunning. I do have a shade from Half Magic, and I can't get enough of this shade. I think this shade is just so pretty. It is the shade Swamp Goddess, and this actually has a shift to it from a green to a purple, but it does offer that same like reflect in it where you get that glittery like eyeshadow topper. So again, throwing the bronzer in the crease, or even like a really pretty brown neutral shade, just something that's neutral in the crease and all over the lid, and then you pop this on top of it, and this just like it looks so pretty on the eyes. It does have that glittery effect. I've noticed it so many times, and it also goes from like a pink to a purple to a green. I love this shade. I think it is so beautiful, especially even if you just pop this like right in the center of the lid, you really amp up any eyeshadow look because it is one of those like eyeshadow toppery formulas. But if you're looking for like a really good one and done shade, or like you just throw the bronzer in the crease and then you put this on top, it's so pretty as well. The shadows from Half Magic, like some of them are just absolutely gorgeous, and I'm like taken aback by how beautiful they are. But look at all these like gorgeous shades that we have so far. Now from an indie brand, I do have a shade from the Decadent Desires collection from Divina Cosmetics. It is honestly my favorite shade out of this collection that they released. It is Blood and Cocoa, and I've done quite a few tutorials with this eyeshadow. I did a review on it, but this, honestly, it's super pigmented, but depending on how you lay it on, you can actually get that wet looking scattered effect, especially if you swipe it on and then you just like pat it on really gingerly, and you get that sparkle. If you want it to be more metallic, you can also get that, but honestly, it is just so beautiful. Like, look how wet that is. Look how sparkly that is. Look how sparkly my finger is. Blood and Cocoa is my favorite. It kind of has like this brownish reddish undertone, and it kind of reminds me of like rose gold in a way, but it really does like dance across the eyes, and it is so stunning on the eyes. I can't get enough of it. Another shade from the Decadent Desires collection is Sinful Lace from Divina, and this one has more of like a almost like a yellow base to it. Again, this could go on super opaque, or if you just like pat this on the eye, this can also go on super glittery and super beautiful. You can see this has more of a silver undertone to it, but look how glittery and like sparkly this all is. Like, my arm's gonna be covered in sparkles. Yes, it has like a silver base to it, but like I said, if you just take your finger and you pat this on the lid and you just literally get the sparkle on there, it gives you that wet effect, the dancing glitter effect, and it's so pretty. It's so mesmerizing. I can't get enough of both of these shades from the Decadent Desires collection. I think they're absolutely stunning, and they add like a dimension to your eyeshadow that like it's so hard to explain the type of dimension that it adds to it. I also have another shade from Divina, and it is the shade Lightning Moss. Now this is actually more of a green undertone. It's like a green to gold, and it is on the center of my lids today. Again, this is one of those shades that you can build up and it can be like super opaque and reflective. Or if you just pat it on the lid, it turns into like this glittery eyeshadow topper, and the light just like dances all over your lid. So Lightning Moss is down here. You can see all three of these Divina shades are like super, like they look foily, but you can really get that light scattered effect with these, especially if you just pat them on the eyes and you get this like dimensional look with them. They're so beautiful. And the last one is also from Half Magic. It is this shade right here. So the shade that I have is Blushing Lizard from Half Magic. This is more of a purple to a pink to a blue shift, but this does have some sort of like, it has that very translucent base. It is more like a eyeshadow topper where you just have that scattered light effect and it just dances across your eyes. So if you like more of that like purpley scattered light effect where it's just like a topper, this is the perfect shade for that. I think that this shade is just so pretty. Honestly, if you just tap it on the lid a little bit, like you would not be surprised. Like, it just provides such a beautiful like dance of glitter across the eyes. And if you just pair this with, like, if you put blush on your eyes and then you put this on, or even just again the bronzer in the crease and put this on, it just creates a dancing glitter effect. So there you have it. If you're looking for a type of like glittery eyeshadow topper shade, here are some of my top recommendations. Thank you so much for staying tuned to this video and watching till the end. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing before you go, and I hope I get to see you in my next video. Bye!